can't see music any more than you can hear a painting. Well, I hope you like that new introduction. It might change a little bit as we go around, but it is as it is for the moment. I wanted to just briefly talk today, of course, and mark the passing of the wonderful Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Now, I shared something on the Cambridge Saxophone Facebook page yesterday, the video of her doing Feel Like a Natural Woman at the Kennedy Center Awards. And one of the things that I said there, yes, incredible, just out of this world technique, wonderful range, incredible power in her voice. But notice in that video, as I said, her time feel. Notice where she starts and finishes phrases, how she comes in certain points, and it's just incredible. And I've said to students many, many times before, and you'll see from the musicians who have written about Aretha, they loved working with her. All musicians, well, apart from some of the diva side of it that I've read about as well, but all musicians love working with people who have a great time feel. And Aretha just has had an incredible time feel, just even in that short video. But listen to some of her other songs. I remember one of the first songs that I came across. I'm not going to pretend to be this world's greatest Aretha Franklin fan, because I've listened to her music, I think it's wonderful and I really appreciate it, but it's not necessarily something I listen to all the time. But I remember when I was in Blackpool when I was 18, and I got a gig with the Tower Circus Band, and we used to go out and play various other gigs as a sort of covers band. And one of the songs we did was a Say a Little Prayer. And I remember coming across a pop song with those time signature changes in it and just being hooked and thinking, wow, this is fantastic. Now, when I was studying in the States with Branford Marsalis, I remember asking him, I remember saying to him, what is it that is, what's the secret of a Ray Charles, an Aretha Franklin, a John Coltrane? And I remember him saying, because I said, I can appreciate technically what's going on, I can appreciate musically to a certain extent, harmonically, everything else what's going on. I said, but there's something, some other source there that I'm not getting. And he just said to me, sit down when you get back, go to church, go to black church and listen. And I did. I went to an African-American church in New York for a little bit, and obviously got that whole gospel experience. But when I got back, I moved to London, and I joined a gospel choir as their saxophone player at a church in North London. There were 2,500 Africans, West Indian. Basically, I was the only white guy in the building, and it was amazing. It was great. I really, really loved it. Last year, 2 years ago it was, when I had lunch with Branford, I remember saying to him, I know why you told me to go to church, why you told me to go to black church, to gospel church, because one of the things that was really noticeable about when I was working with these guys is nothing was ever written down. I mean, yeah, there was even things like rehearsals. Rehearsals were due to start at 7:30. I would rock up, ready, saxophone in hand, mouthpiece on, reed ready to go at 7:30. Most people were rolling through the doors at 10 to 8, 10 past 8. The rehearsal got underway roughly about 25 past 8, quarter to 9, which used to irritate me a little bit, and it would just go on. There kind of was no cut-off point. We could go on till midnight or beyond, rehearsing things over and over again, trying different things, but nobody ever wrote anything down. Everything was passed on orally. I remember even within the musicians, kind of, you know, the chord changes, so that the music director would have, and incidentally, David Elvike, who was the music director for Tribe of Judah Gospel Choir, was also the keyboard player for the Royal Wedding Gospel Choir, of which Adenike, who sings with my Jazz Vespers group, also sang at, and they've got an album coming out soon. So that's a little aside. But David used to have an SM58 on a mic stand, and he would just shout chord changes. He would say, "Go to the 6," instead, you know, half a bar before you were due to go to the root. He would automatically put a chord substitution in. He'd shout, you know, rhythms, you know, go horns, and then you had to play that in harmony 2 bars later. And I got what Branford was talking about. It's very much in gospel and all that music, which Aretha Franklin grew up in, Coltrane grew up in, both his grandfathers were Methodist preachers. And I'm not going to get into a whole theology or church discussion here, because talking about religion and politics on YouTube is a bit like a dinner party. It's not always such a good idea, and nor is it polite. So I've learned my lesson. Even though I have got degrees in theology and politics, I'm not going to talk too much about theology and politics today. All I want to get at is that oral tradition, that passing things on orally. Everybody could play everything else. The bass player was a really good drummer. The drummer was a fantastic keyboard player. The keyboard player could play bass almost as good as the actual bass player. And it really taught me something about kind of moving on to other people's instruments and then jamming. You know, we'd do a 3-4 hour rehearsal and then we'd jam for another half an hour, 45 minutes just on something else. It was, music was constantly going all the time, and this is the culture to a certain extent that people like Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles and those people grew up in that black gospel church tradition. And I speak obviously as an outsider of that. 10 years later I went, I know why. I know what you're getting at. It's that whole cultural difference. And I'm not saying it has to be there, but there is something different about artists that have grown up within that tradition than artists that haven't grown up in that tradition. I can learn from it, but I will never necessarily be, or well, I won't, I didn't grow up in it. I can't be part of that culture in that way, but I can learn things from it. So one of the things I can learn from it is to play by ear more often, to hear things before I see them, especially when it comes to music. And I say this a lot to students. You can't see music any more than you can hear a painting. You've got to hear the music. I was watching somebody else who is right on message, this person. He said, you know, if you want to learn a melody, do not go near the sheet music. Amen, brother. To just go that in there. Don't do it. You know, keep listening, keep your ears open. It's really, really important. If you really want to understand what kind of makes that music special, it's about hearing it and spending so much more time listening to it. I mean, I say that a lot on here, I know I do, and I'm preaching to this guy over here in the camera and the viewfinder because I need to do more listening as well. The kids have been at summer school all week. Our neighbour runs a stage school, so they've been down there all week practicing a play, well, a musical. They're doing Annie, so they're doing some scenes from it this afternoon, so I need to pack my cameras up because we're allowed to film it. I don't know how much I'm going to show on YouTube, but it's great that we're allowed to film it, so I need to get my cameras together to be able to film it. Katie and I also have to nip into Cambridge to run some errands, so I need to get my camera back. So I'm going to be blown out here because I'm right next to the light. It's a Manfrotto bag which I got in this vlog. You can check that out. I've cut down on the amount I take. I normally take my 50mm lens. It's a really, really good lens. Deodorant, always useful to have in the summer months. Nice zoom lens. It's a 18-135 Canon lens. The good old trusted 85mm lens. This is the best lens I've bought all year. All those really nice Instagram portraits and everything are all shot on this lens, as are most of my B-roll images. Canon 60D with the Rode mic on top. I need to pack this away so we can take it and watch the play.
Smack dab in the middle of the Great Depression in the city of New York. It's a 4 AM at the New York City Orphanage.
What do you two look like?
Your lines were so clear, weren't they?
So show done? Well done?
Yeah!
Please. Whoa! Oh, dominoes.
Because I felt too.
I'm getting some serious gas. I don't mean kind of flatulence problem, I mean gear acquisition syndrome, which I tell my regular vlog watchers off a lot for, especially when it comes to saxophone mouthpieces, because people spend a lot of time on eBay. I am getting it about getting a 5D Mark I maybe. I've seen a few videos on YouTube of people getting some amazing results out of it, and I'm also very tempted to get a Mark IV and just hang the price, maybe get it on a buy now, pay later kind of thing. I know I shouldn't. I know that I can take really good photographs with this camera. It's not the gear. But don't forget, if you don't already, or haven't already, please enter the prize below. I'm going to close the competition the middle of next week. I know it says 28 days on the thing. If I can't close it, then I have to leave it on for 28 days. I will do, but I want to get this D'Addario package out to someone as soon as possible. So the sooner you join, the sooner you're going to have the opportunity to win that, and obviously the signed CDs and the other things, as I have said. Don't forget to check out my last vlog here. This is what I was up to this time last year. If you don't already, hit that subscribe button. It means a huge amount to me. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you really, really soon. Don't forget, I'm in London on Sunday if I don't speak to you beforehand. 5:30 in Methodist Central Hall.